Inhofe for the hearing, and certainly there's no disagreement in terms of the broader issue we're here about, that there is need for TSCA reform, a law which really hasn't been updated significantly since 1976. And I want to commend Senator Lautenberg for his priority and focus for several years with regard to reform. I know it's very deep and very sincere. As has been stated, Senators Inhofe and Crapo and Alexander, as well as myself, have very actively engaged with Senator Lautenberg and his office, meeting at the staff level weekly, if not more, over an extended period of time. Unfortunately, those of us on this side all view this hearing and the partisan markup to follow tomorrow as a diversion from that, an interruption from that. And we think it's unfortunate. But I, for one, remain completely committed to getting back to that bipartisan process so that we can produce a good consensus bill that can actually pass the Senate and the House. And that's what I remain committed to. Again, I think this diversion is unfortunate, but it's not going to shake that commitment on my part. TSCA is very important. We need to reform it, and we need to get that right. From my perspective in Louisiana, I'll tell you a few reasons we need to get it right is because this industry, which is so important for the nation, is certainly important for our economy. Chemical companies in Louisiana directly employ over 22,000 people and indirectly contribute 158,000 jobs to the economy. For every direct job in Louisiana, another 5.5 jobs are created in the state. And the average wage we're talking about for those direct jobs is very healthy, over $84,000, 47% higher than the average manufacturing wage. These jobs generate $1.9 billion in earnings and almost $1 billion in tax revenue and $962 million in Social Security and Medicare contributions. Let me also focus for a minute about the need to reform to get it right, because I think we've had a lot of evidence in the last few years in particular how the present regime with regard to regulation is getting it wrong. In particular, I was very involved in demanding a National Academy of Science study with regard to one particular chemical, formaldehyde, when EPA was pushing an aggressive agenda regarding this. We finally got that independent NAS study, and unfortunately it underscored and really proved a lot of our concerns about the IRIS process in general. Let me just point to some of the conclusions from that study. This is a National Academy of Science, very mainstream, respected organization. They said, quote, problems with clarity and transparency of the methods appear to be a repeating theme over the years, close quote. They said, quote, the conclusions appear to be based on a subjective view of the overall data, close quote, and quote, the causal determinations are not supported by the narrative provided, close quote. And then finally, quote, EPA overstated the evidence to deem formaldehyde a neurotoxic. The human data are insufficient and the candidate animal studies deviate substantially from testing guidelines and common practice, close quote. Unfortunately, this was not an isolated incident. It's a much broader issue, at least with the whole IRIS process. And because of that, the EPA itself even admitted the need for fundamental reform. Dr. Paul Anastas saying in July 14th of last year, quote, over the coming months, the IRIS program will fully implement the NAS recommendations and continue to improve the IRIS process to reflect the highest standards of scientific integrity and credibility, close quote. We're still not there, and TSCA reform based on sound science, based on bipartisan consensus is absolutely necessary to get us there. So after this distraction this week, I really hope we get back to that important hard work of mainstream TSCA reform. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.